Hello, everyone. Today we unravel one of the most chilling and puzzling mysteries of the 20th century, a case that has fascinated conspiracy theorists and storytellers for decades. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, an unsolved tragedy that took place in the frozen Ural Mountains of Russia in 1959. 9 young hikers set out on a winter expedition. But what happened to them in those mountains has never been fully explained. Their deaths, under strange and terrifying circumstances, remain one of the most enduring enigmas in modern history. Our story begins with a group of students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. The group consisted of 8 men and 2 women, all experienced in hiking and skiing through harsh conditions. They planned to reach Otorten, a mountain in the northern Urals. It was supposed to be a challenging but manageable expedition for their skill level. The hikers carried diaries, cameras, and equipment to document their journey. Little did they know their story would end in mystery. On January 25th, 1959, the group set off by train and later trekked through snow-covered landscapes toward their destination. Along the way, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill and returned home. His decision would save his life, as he became the sole survivor of the Dyatlov expedition, not because he endured the mountains, but because he wasn't there when tragedy struck. The rest of the team continued on, and on February 1st, they set up camp on the slope of Kolet Syakhl, a mountain whose name translates ominously to Dead Mountain in the language of the indigenous Mansi people. They pitched their tent on a snowy slope rather than moving into the forest, perhaps due to dwindling daylight. That night would become the last anyone saw of them alive. When the hikers failed to return as scheduled, search and rescue teams were dispatched. On February 26th, the searchers discovered the group's abandoned tent. What they found was deeply unsettling. The tent was cut open from the inside, as if the hikers had slashed their way out in a desperate hurry. Their belongings, including warm clothes and boots, were still inside. Footprints in the snow, some barefoot, led away from the tent toward the forest. Following the tracks, searchers found the first 2 bodies near a cedar tree, stripped down to their underwear, as if they had fled without proper clothing in the freezing cold. A small fire had been built nearby, but it hadn't been enough to save them. Soon, 3 more bodies were found between the tree and the tent, as though they had been trying to return. They, too, lacked adequate clothing for sub-zero temperatures. The last 4 bodies were not discovered until months later, buried under snow in a ravine deeper in the forest. These remains raised even more questions. Some showed signs of severe trauma, including fractured skulls and broken ribs. One woman was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her face. Strangely, there were no external wounds that matched the internal injuries, leading investigators to describe the force as comparable to a car crash. The official investigation at the time concluded that the hikers died due to a compelling natural force, but what exactly that meant was never clarified. This vague conclusion only fueled speculation and mystery. Over the years, theories have multiplied. One explanation is an avalanche. According to this theory, the hikers cut their way out of the tent because snow began sliding down the slope. They fled to safety, but became disoriented in the dark and cold, leading to hypothermia. The severe injuries could have been caused by snow pressure or falling into the ravine. However, some argued the slope was too gentle for a true avalanche, and conditions at night weren't typical for one. Another theory suggests infrasonic low-frequency sound caused by wind that can induce panic, nausea, and irrational behavior. Perhaps the hikers were affected by these waves, fled the tent in confusion, and succumbed to the elements. Others point to military involvement. The area was used for secret weapons testing at the time, and some believe the hikers may have been caught in an experiment gone wrong, possibly exposed to powerful shock waves or chemical agents. This might explain the radiation traces found on some clothing and the strange orange glow witnesses reported in the sky around the same time. There are also supernatural explanations. Some suggest the hikers were attacked by the Mansi spirits, or even by an unknown creature, sometimes linked to the Yeti legend. While this sounds far-fetched, the brutal injuries and missing tongue have led some to speculate about violent encounters. UFO theories also persist. The strange lights seen in the sky, the unexplained burns on some of the and the government's reluctance to provide clear answers have all contributed to speculation about extraterrestrial involvement. In 2019, the Russian government reopened the investigation, but their final report once again concluded that an avalanche was the cause. Yet many experts and family members remain unconvinced, arguing that too many details don't fit neatly into that explanation. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains unsolved. The image of that slashed tent, the barefoot footprints in the snow, and the hikers' broken bodies in the frozen wilderness continue to haunt anyone who studies the case. What truly happened that night? Was it a natural disaster, human error, secret military testing, or something beyond our understanding? Perhaps we may never know. The mountains of Russia still guard their secret, and the Dyatlov hikers remain frozen in history as victims of a mystery that refuses to die.